We are in the fourth day of session 2, and hearty welcome to our faculty members from various institutions and our today's chief guest, Mr. Hariharan, founder, Space C Solutions Chennai, and we are welcome, sir. And now I would like to call upon Mrs. A. Soumya from E&I Assistant Professor of E&I Department to introduce our chief guest of this session. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Good morning to one and all present here. I welcome you all to this 5 days Atal FTP program on research avenues and challenges in Industry 4.0. On behalf of our management, Principal Sir, Head of the E&I Department, and my own behalf, I would like to welcome our session speaker, Mr. V. Hariharan, founder of Space Z Chennai, a technology incubation center. Sir has completed BE in Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering from KCG College of Technology in the year 2017. He started his career as project engineer in Trent Instrumentation and Automation Private Limited. As a young and energetic engineering graduate, he raised his curiosity towards learning new skills. His passion towards reskilling India has made him as an entrepreneur. As he started EdTech, a startup company, in the year 2018, and now it's successfully running as Space Z. Also, his interest towards IoT and automation has made him to start Issue Labs, a customized automation firm. Under his guidance, he and his team has mentored more than 3,000 individuals in different high-level domains in the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, virtual reality, and augmented reality. He also mentored more than 10 teams who were the finalists and winners of national level competitions. He extended his support and guidance for the winning competitors in Smart India Hackathon 2019, KPIT Sparkle, Mitsubishi Electric Cup competitions. With this introduction, I request Mr. Hariharan, founder of Space Z, to start over the session. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Welcome, sir.
Other occasions for sharing knowledge and getting knowledge through them and providing the knowledge from our end to the students and the faculty. So it's very happy for me personally to be a part of this faculty development program. And let me introduce myself as it was informed earlier. I am in 2017 passed out from the Department of Electronics and Instrumentation from the College of KCG College of Technology, which is in Chennai. Started my career as a project engineer, and right now I have a firm called Spacey, which is an edtech startup which focuses on reskilling India towards the better environment. So that is what we are focusing on. So I'm happy to start the session with. If there is any particular questions in between, I'm very much open to have such interactive sessions in between. For every 20 minutes, we shall have a small interactive session so that it will be much more transferring knowledge instead of just having a one-way seminar. So let's communicate each other to share knowledge, and let's grow together and reskill India together. So let me start the session. Just I as an kid from the as a 90s kid, I always start with the technology which is very much readily available within us. Like right now, social medias are very much trending, and most of the people spend most of their times in social medias. Particularly, I focus on social media to grab some knowledge from them. The memes which made me or inspired me or made me to learn something from those memes. I have gathered 3 or 4 memes from them, which is I'm gonna show it to you. First is like right now, artificial intelligence is the very biggest or very buzzing topic which has been revolving around everywhere. Whoever is asked, they just wanted to know about machine learning, artificial intelligence, IoT, and all stuff together. But this meme explained to me like how our real intelligence is getting depreciated than rather than being incremented by use of artificial intelligence. Like right now, what we call ourselves is like Google generation, where we go for everything. We go for answers to from everything towards the Google. Like if I want to solve a problem, there is an application available to solve my maths problem. If I want to do my homework, there is an application which can do my homeworks. There is an application to rewrite my articles. There is an application website to develop all sorts of problems which occur to me very easy and convenient way. What happens there is our real intelligence, the capacity to think, the capacity to solve problems, to provide alternative solutions has depreciated to a very larger extent. That is this memes which tells me and which slaps me always, which whenever I see that I have a little higher intelligence or something like that, I just go through this meme because it gives me the right slap. The next one is like right now we are in a technological era where everything around us is smarter, way smarter than us. We think ourselves are smarter, but the reality is our smartphones know more than us about us. For example, the sleep cycle which I maintain is being monitored by my smart band, which records and maintains in its server. Right now I do not know what is my sleep cycle or what is my REM cycle or something like that, deep sleep cycle or something like that, but my smartphone knows it. But my smartphone knows whatever is happening around, whatever conversation I have with my friends, everything it records and it takes it as a marketing strategy to develop their own consumer products. So that what I'm trying to tell is, whatever you do, be safe with the components or technological aspect components which you use, because they are way more smarter than us. This is where our technology started. Like we were as a kid we were using, and you would have been most of the faculties who are here would have for sure used this device, which is the start for technological era. The third one is to tell about Wi-Fi, which all three birds on the left side are sitting in a wired communication, and the bird towards the right is in the wireless communication, which is Wi-Fi, which we use right now. Wi-Fi, using Wi-Fi has made everything accessible and made everything to be global and remote access. So that's what the memes, which was a bit inspiring to me to let you know. So before getting into the session, I just want to have some little talk towards what will be the conversation or what will be the communication today about in this session. Like I'm going to discuss about what is a digital twin, how digital twin is being utilized or being started to be utilized in industries, what is industry 4.0, what is the starting stage from industry's revolution to right now, how we have evolved, what is fusion technology, how fusion technology evolved, all these things. Then case studies of digital twins being used in industries and the projects which we have developed. We have developed multiple projects on digital twin with the help of with mentoring the students. The students will be developing it and we'll be mentoring them. One among them is students of RMT Engineering College, which we mentored for a competition. So we'll be discussing all these kinds of case studies to have a better understanding of what is digital twin, what is virtual reality, what is augmented reality. And to touch the concept of this FDP, 5-day FDP program, I just wanted to have 3 to 4 minutes of conversation of what is IoT. The best explanation I can give from my end, so that you can have a better understanding of what is IoT. IoT is something to be very simple, giving internet to everything. I have my AC remote over here, which does not have any internet connected to it. What if I give internet to my particular device, or what if I give internet to my particular table, my particular mask, whatever equipment around? Internet of things is also known as internet of everything, where you can we provide internet to give it solutions to everything around. To be more simple, to break down the definition of IoT, IoT is actually an embedded system with internet enabled or control using internet. To be more simple again, what is an embedded system? Embedded system is why I'm touching IoT and embedded system is digital twin concept more relies on Internet of Things, computing, cloud computing concepts, and robotics. So in that case, we need to have basics of all this. That is why I'm just trying to give you insights of IoT. What is an IoT? How it is being used in industries. So IoT is internet controlled embedded system. What is embedded system? Embedded system is something which blends hardware and software together to perform a particular task. Let me give you a breakdown it with an example. First example is we all go for shopping complexes and shopping malls where there will be counters. The number of people who have visited that mall, there will be counters installed at the entrance. Has an IR circuit which transmit IR transmitter which transmits an IR signal, and there will be an IR receiver. Whenever there is a breakage or whenever there is an obstacle in between them, the transmitter and the receiver, it increases the count. So in that way, the counter will be increased. So this is the pure hardware content. There is no software at all in it. The same IR principle and the IR sensors are being used in our mobile phones, where you can easily find it is whenever there is a call, whenever we get a call from someone or we get a call, we tend to attend it and keep it near our ears to speak. At that case, our screens will be blacking out. Our screens will be completely logged without to disable the function of touching it. That is actually the principle of IR sensor. That sensor is known as proximity sensor, which emits very little radiations. Whenever there is a closer object to that particular sensor, it locks the screen. But the magic or the actual truth behind this, it does not operate or it does not function every time. It functions whenever there is or only whenever there is a call being in process. Like only if I am in call, that sensor or that proximity sensor will be activated. After that or before a call, it is not going to be activated. That is, the screen will not be locked or blacked out. This is what we call as embedded system. A hardware proximity sensor is combined to a software, that is, which monitors or which enables the function of calling and all those things. The processor is combined together to perform a particular task. That task is to black out the screen whenever there is a call. So a combination of hardware and software to perform a particular task is known as embedded system. And this if this embedded system is connected to internet or controlled by internet, that is known as Internet of Things or Internet of Everything. I hope I have given a little explanation about IoT. Is there any questions still that, like, what is an IoT, or should I change my speed of explaining and all those things? It would be most welcome to rectify it at the start instead of just going at the end and having some clarifications. Someone please confirm if my speed is fine, the communication audio is clear, and if there is any doubt till now what is IoT, to explaining till IoT. Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay. So why we need to have these kind of devices? What is the actual mandate need for us to have these kind of IoT, digital twin concepts, and the technologies which we develop, like AI, ML, and all those things, data science, and all those things. These kind of technologies are developed to interact, collaborate, and share our experiences. Let me give you an example again. Let's say if I can tell to my fan, like the AC over here, or to my fan over here, to switch off itself, like I'm interacting with it. Come on, hey, you come on, turn off yourself after 15 minutes or something like that. I am kind of a lazy person where when I went to bed, I will be more. It will be more difficult for me to wake up and go switch off the lights or fans or AC, something like that. In that case, what can be a solution to this? Like if I say, hey, you come and turn yourself off after 15 minutes or after half an hour or something like that, and if my devices goes off, I'm just interacting with it. I'm just creating a connection with it. That is what we call as interact. That is actual need. We are interacting with our equipments, our devices which is around us. Collaborate to provide a very intrusive or very user experience, to enhance the user experiences. So for example, what if I do not need to switch on my lights at all? Whenever I enter, it automatically switches on, and whenever I leave, it automatically switches off. So this condition is collaborating with my environment based on my experiences and based on its own experiences. So sharing my experiences together and collaborating it to work upon my interest or my opinions, that is what known as, that is actually the need of having all these kinds of technologies in our day-to-day life, like the machine learning technologies, artificial intelligence technologies, IoTs, VR concepts, and all those things are to create a very good experience for the user or the consumer who is using it. That is the ultimate need or motive for these kind of technologies. The applications which would have been explained by very well experts on the domain of IoT, like health, education, food, logistics and retails, and there are various technologies which are right now using IoTs, fusion technologies, and all these together. What I'm trying to tell is, what is the actual process is, industry revolution started in 1769, which is in the 18th century, late 18th century, where was our first industrial revolution, where industries start to enable themselves. The second revolution started in late 19th centuries, which is in 1869 to 1870. At that phase, we started to work on electricity and those kind of consumption based products, which gave rise to second phase of industrial revolution. The third phase, which is we were working on the later 90s part, that is 1969 to 1970 part, which is telecommunication revolution, where communication revolution, which is actually we call the internet, or the right now which is the internet. That is what the point which made the globe or the world to grow very rapidly and very exponentially. So that is the third phase of revolution, industry 3.0. And right now, which we believe is industry 4.0. We are in the era of the industry 4.0, which started or which was officially announced in 2011 by a group of scientists and economists and other peoples from European Union. That industry 4.0 has started. Industry 4.0 is more focused on communicating with internet and having wireless communication protocols, like transferring details without any wired technologies, controlling with remote access, giving instruments to work on themselves instead of just having it to be operated by a human. Artificial intelligence concepts, data, having a detailed analytics and research towards a particular concept, which is data science, and all these things are the revolutionary results of industry 4.0, which we are in right now. How it is connected, why fusion technology is important in industry 4.0, and what is digital twin. Like, to start with, fusion technology is something combination of two different technologies, which you might be very much aware of too. To put it in simple terms, it took nearly around a decade, around a century to transform to other technologies. Let's say initially it was CDs. Before that, it was transmitter radios. Then it was FM radios, or those kind of induction type radios. Then it transformed towards CDs. Then it went to floppy disk. Now we have internal storages, ROMs, which is of very small size, nanometer size, and can store lots of information in it. This transformation, if you see the timeline, it was like initially it took decades for a technology to evolve. Like from compact discs to floppies, it took some time, for decades actually. From transistor radios to normal function radios, it took decades to transform. But after the evolution of fusion technology in the late 1990s and in the early start of 2000, the technology started to grow very rapidly. Like induction of two different technologies or combination of two different technologies gave rise to rapidization. For example, if you see, the mobile phone technology was only into the communication sector. Later, it went into all kinds of sector. Right now, every sector is being done or controlled or being utilized or consumed by the consumers in all aspects. Your mobile phone can access to social media, your mobile phone access to your informations, your mobile phone access to financial things, everything your mobile phone has access to. That is your transformation because of fusion of technologies. Many different technologies are combined together in a particular device called mobile phone. Same way, if you take your televisions, earlier it was CCTVs, then it came to LCDs, then it came to LEDs, now QLEDs, and many more has been given rise. The start from CT tube TVs to the next one of LCD, it took decades, like probably 2 decades. Then from LCD panels to LED, it was just 7 years of gap. Then from LED to QLED and all those things, it's like couple of years of gap. Every day the technology is being changed. There is actually a statement which was given earlier. It takes years for technologies to transform earlier. Right now, a couple of years, like 5 or 10 years ago, it was 100 days for a technology to evolve. Right now, it is like every day a new technology is being evolved. So that is why we need to adapt ourselves to these kind of technologies. Why I'm saying this, all these very basic stuffs is to understand what is happening around so that we can implement in our day-to-day life. Instead of just going for higher scale industrial parts, we can just implement in our day-to-day life problems, which can be solved with these kind of technologies in a easier way. So that is what the ultimate aim is. Okay, so what is actually the advantage of having these kind of technologies with us? The major disadvantage is all these technologies are tapping us, or like all these technologies are regularly being informed about ourselves. Like let's say this is one very big issue which has been happening across the globe, that Facebook and Google are very much listening to all our conversations, which is actually practically true, where you can test it by yourself. If you call hey Google to your phone, if your phone is somewhere else, it will be responding, hey, how can I help you, or something like that, which means it has been listening to me all the time, and it responds only if there is a trigger word like hey Google or some trigger words called, it will be responding. What I'm trying to tell is it has been recording you, or it has been listening to you all the time. So you need to be very careful when you are into these kind of technologies. And also let's see the second right one, right meme. It says like if you do not want me to tweet out your weight, then give me $50 or something like that, which means instruments can start fire back us with these kind of technology, with these kind of threats, which will be a future threat. So I'm asking you to be little safe, little bit more conscious when you use these kind of technologies, applications in particular, your mobile phone applications. So that is what I just wanted to say before just getting into the actual digital twin. So before going into digital twin, we need to know what is digital twin. We need to understand what is augmented reality and what is virtual reality, and how we can implement them in our day-to-day life. So that is what we need to actually understand. Let me put you with simple terms. What is augmented reality and what is virtual reality? If I am here right now, but I'm experiencing a different kind of world, that is known as virtual reality. Virtually, I'm experiencing a world. Augmented reality is like blending some other world into my real world. I'll give you straight examples from the films, which is one film, very famous film, which is called Avatar, where the actual protagonist will be made into sit into a box, and he'll be in some other world and experiencing that world. That is known as virtual reality. You will be here, present here, but your experience will be in some other world. That is known as virtual reality. The same, again, one more example for augmented reality. Good example is again a movie named Iron Man, where he'll be having an assistant, a virtual assistant known as Jarvis. It will be giving him details of what is his suit's power mode, what is his power consumption, fuel level, and all those things in his dashboard. That is known as augmented reality. So virtual reality and augmented reality are very small deviated thing which have high impact. Let me give you an small example. This frame shows that I am just having my mobile phone. From that, I am looking a particular spot. In real world, it does not show what it is. It is just a building. But in my mobile phone, it shows that it is restaurant, it is museum, it is gallery. It is giving me information which is impacted, or which is imposed on real environment. I'll give you one more good example with clear information. This, if you see, in real world, it will not be showing you it as coffee shop, it will not be showing you it as restaurant, it will not be showing you as music shop, but you will just be seeing the buildings, actual buildings. But in my mobile phone or in my device, I can actually segregate it and get informations which I need, with what is the rating and who's the last person visited over there, and how is the customer service. All those things can be imposed or superimposed in real environment, and we can have for our experience, to improve our experiences. That is known as augmented reality. So is there any clarifications regarding virtual reality and augmented reality? Or is there any questions regarding virtual reality and augmented reality? I'm just open for questions, quick questions for 5 minutes. We shall have a very quick interactive session for 5 minutes. If there is any question related virtual reality and augmented reality and the basic concepts of IoT. If there is any question, you can kindly please post it in the chat box. Okay, so I take this as a clarified one with there is no doubts till now. If there is any questions, you can just post it in the chat box so that we can have an interactive way that way. Okay, so this is one. This is what I was talking about, which is virtual reality. The student is actually experiencing the detailed part of an gear, so he can actually get into gears and he can actually look into what is the gear, how it is turns, how it works on. He can have detailed functionality view of that particular gear. So what happens is like it gives him better experiences, so he can understand it in a very better way. So that's how VR is being used in started being used in education segment, which we are also implementing in our segment. This is what I was telling about Jarvis, which is providing him all the details regarding to his suit, which he wears. The Iron Man will be having an Iron Man suit. The dashboard in his space will be giving him all details like what is the time, what is the level of fuel, how much time power will be maintained, can be maintained, and all those things. So this is known as very best example for augmented reality, and this is very best example for virtual reality. Before going into the digital twin concept, I'll give you a very short description of what is digital twin. Digital twin is something creating replica digitally. To be very precise, I am Hari and I am a human. If I create an exact replica digitally, like some avatar or some kind of an animation about me, or which is very look-alike me, that is known as digital twin. It should respond how I respond. In the way, for example, if someone asks me a question, what is my name? I'll be responding, my name is Hariharan. The same way that digital twin or the digital replica will also be responding. What is the need? Why that digital replica need to be developed? The reason is I cannot be testing all my parameters in real environment, which can be creating some kind of hazardous, or it can be chaos after some time. So I do not want that to be happening in that environment. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a digital equipment which is more similar or which is very similar to the actual physical equipment. I can test the parameters in that digital equipment. Like for example, there is a pump and I need to test what happens as a crazy kid. I'll be testing all these kind of very dangerous things, like I'll be supplying more than 220 volts or 230 volts to a DC equipment. 230 volt AC or 240 volt AC to a DC equipment. I would be trying these kind of very dangerous experiments during my childhood. So when I did it, it was having very large impact. So we don't want that to be tested, or we don't want that to be done in a real environment. So what we are up to is we are creating a digital replica of that particular equipment, and we are testing the parameters, like providing, let's say, the digital the DC circuit I have prepared, and I'm creating a digitally replica of that. What I'm doing is I'm giving 220 volts supply digitally to that. It will be responding how it like bursting out, or it will be responding in such a way in that digital replica itself. That is your digital twin itself. So I can understand if I in real time, if I give 220 volts supply to it, it will be bursting out. And if I give 5 volt DC, how it operates. If I give 4 volt DC, how it operates. Or if I give 24 volt DC, how it operates. I can understand how it will be working out in real environment, so that I can make my design alterations accordingly. Okay, so that is the first point for digital twin. The second one, The second reason to have digital twin is you can actually control devices using different kinds of technologies. That is what we are going to see on. Applications it is being used in Industry 4.0, R&D research and developments, virtual labs and games. Right now across the globe, games are very popular in this kind of virtual reality and augmented reality segment. If you want to know in detail about augmented reality games and virtual reality games, there are n number. Out of that, a few to list out which everybody popular is Pokemon Go, which came in 2016, the time period of 2015 to 16, which is an augmented reality game, world's first augmented reality game to be in an Android mobile phone. Then there is something called Ready Player One and various other virtual games which is being used in virtual reality boxes. We can play using virtual reality boxes. Right now, games are very popular than other segments, which segments are right now growing on. The second reason to have these kind of digital twin concepts is because you can control devices, which is what we are going to see in the upcoming one. You can control a device with an experience of you personally being there. For example, let's say there is a fan above your head. There is a fan. Obviously, there will be a fan. What I'm doing is I need to service that fan, or I need to remove the wing of that fan from here. I'm in Chennai and you are from farther locations from Chennai. Let's keep in that way. What happens is like I need to remove the wing of the fan, but I need to be present in Chennai itself. In that case, what I'll be doing is I'll be creating a digital twin of that particular fan. Digitally I'll be creating it. In that case, what happens is like I can view it and I can provide a service equipment, or I can digitally do some changes to it, and I can have a robotic setup installed at that particular fan. So what happens is whenever I do something to this digital, that robotic arm will exactly react accordingly and do the same changes to that particular fan. So it is being connected in this way that I'm present in Chennai and I have I have a virtual reality setup and I'm having access to it. What happens there in your location? There is a fan which has a robotic setup to it. What I'm doing, I'm changing some screws. I'm removing some screws. That robotic arm will be removing the screws. So I am in Chennai, but I have an experience that I am actually removing that fan. So this is what known as digital twin concept, which has given to rise to various industrial problematic solutions. It has given a lot of solutions to various industrial problems, which we are going to discuss right now. So one of our project which we did is to have vehicle health monitoring system. If we need to know what is the current parameter of that particular car or particular bike, we need to go to a mechanical service shop and they'll be checking out what is the parameters, how the engine oil is, or how the engine is working on a coolant system, and all the things they'll be checking separately. What I can do is, what we did is, we created an augmented reality dashboard using the students of R&D Engineering College, where the car system will be connected to the mobile phone using Bluetooth communication, and whenever there will be a QR scanner in it. Whenever they scan the QR code, the parameters of the car will be popped up as a dashboard, so they can know what is the process, how to do it, and what are the current parameters of that particular car, and every detail will be given in that particular AR dashboard, which will be more appealing for them, more understanding for them to understand their vehicle by themselves, instead of just going to a mechanical shop to understand what are the parameters and to get it rectified. They can try to solve it initially. If the assistance of an expert is needed, then they can go to the mechanical shop, something like that. So this is how the process is. Like, this is one of the case study which we developed, vehicle health monitoring system using AR by the students of R&D Engineering College. So they have been participating in KPIT Sparkle competition, and we have mentored them for that. Software is used in this for developing this. Unity is one of the major software which has been used for developing these kind of AR and VR technologies. Unity, you need to know, to develop concepts in Unity, you need to know very basics of C# or .NET frameworks, which is very easy to understand, and that is how you need to develop Unity. Unity is also very user friendly. You can develop a lot of stuff in there. Unreal Engine is something more higher than Unity, where you can even do develop various kinds of animations and games, all these stuff. Unity and Unreal Engines are gaming softwares which are used for developing games, and Unity would have surely come across various games which would start with made with Unity with a box on it. So that is what Unity software is used for. And the second is hardware used in it and the companies which has been involved. We know Facebook for having social medias like Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp, but they are also into different domains like virtual reality. The world's topmost virtual reality equipments are Oculus, and the second is HTC Vive and all those things. Oculus is the topmost one, which has been developed and manufactured by Facebook in collaboration with Redmi or Xiaomi Mi. So they both together, Facebook developed the software of Oculus, and the hardware is being developed by Redmi. HoloLens is used for augmented reality stuffs and augmented reality workouts, which has been developed by Microsoft. HoloLens is for having a very good AR experiences, which both of the rates start from lakh and above. So Oculus starts from around 20,000, and HoloLens starts from above about 1.5 lakhs based on their users' need. So it varies accordingly. So these are the companies and these are the software, very common softwares and very general companies which are in the field of digital twin products. Okay. So before seeing digital twin, the explanation video, we just want you to have some interaction right now. It's been 40 minutes of discussion. So I just want to have some interaction, any kind of questions till now, or any queries or any doubts in this which has been started till now. I'm open for a quick 5 minutes question session so that we can continue with the session after that. I'm happy for session, any kind of question. So if there is any questions, kindly please put your question or post your questions in the chat box. It can be anything related to what are the projects we have done till now, or it can be something related to digital twin, AR segments, or anything which you wanted to know about. Am I audible? Like, am I clear with what the content has been delivered, or is there any clarifications? Shall I proceed with the next one?
Yes, sir, we can proceed, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So let me show you some the project which has been developed by the students of RMD Engineering College. The other team, the second team, which we have been focusing on developing a digital twin. So that is actually solving problem for an industry, real-time industry. We took a problem and we solved it using digital twin concept. I'll show you the video initially, and then I'll explain you what is the process in it, and how we developed, how the problem was solved. All those things I'll be explaining after the video, so we can just go with the video.
To monitor the systems with
अभी तो डिप्लोमा में हुआ था, भी पता नहीं इसमें
Yeah, sorry,
पता नहीं कैसे सीट नहीं मिली उसे, बाहर वाले यूपी वाले करके सीट नहीं दी, रैंक तो अच्छी थी आई थी इसकी।
sorry ma'am, I didn't get you. Can you please come again? Ma'am, am I audible? Okay, so let me explain you the concept which has been given in the video. So digital twin is actually creating replica of the concept. Here, what we did is there are n number of pumps being used in industries. Industries, particularly petrochemical industries, will be having n number of pumps with them. So they are into the zones called zone 0, which is also known as hazardous zone, where people will not be will have restrictions to be entering, or they will not be given permissions to enter that particular zone. So I have personally visited such kind of industrial zones, and I have seen how pump operates over there. The actual problem is, if there is any anomaly in that particular pump, or if there's any problem with that pump, human needs to go there and solve that and come back, service it and come back to the safer environment. In this case, what happens is that area is actually hazardous. So a human must be traveling to that particular area, and he must be exposed to such kind of hazardous area. Like this is an petrochemical industry. Let's see, keep it as somewhere near a boiler. A boiler is very much a highly hazardous area where the temperature will be very hot, and it will be very difficult for a human to go and operate over there. These kind of conditions gave rise to a problem that a human cannot be going to a particular location and solving it out. What we came up with is a pump which can perform which can have anomalies, or which can have deviations in its real time preset values because of various parameters. The pressure can be varying due to a parameter, the actual value of the speed of the pump can vary because of a capacitor, and there are various n number of problems in a pump can occur in an industry. What we wanted to do is, we wanted to solve this problem, a very simple problem, using digital twin concept. So what we did is, we found that the charge, or the capacitor in a pump has very much influence towards the speed of the pump. So what we decided is, if there is any anomaly found in the capacitor, then we need to change the capacitor, which is actually in the hazardous area. So we'll be doing it digitally, like we'll be doing it using digital twin concept. I'll be in my location, and that pump will be in some other location. I can communicate with the pump, and I'll be feeling that I'm actually in the area of in the hazardous area, and I'll be actually servicing it. So I'll be having that kind of feel, and the pump will be actually working accordingly. So this is what the concept is. What we did is, we installed a pump over here. There's a pump, you can see. What we did is, we developed an XY robotics arm which actually picks the capacitor, place it in its holder, and take a new capacitor and place it in the or fix it in the pump. So we made some changes or alterations to the pump accordingly. So this is the actual robotic setup which has XY robotic arm, and this is the pump which we changed with for. So the flow is controlled using a PLC, programmable logic controller. We used it for normally a normal operation to control the pressure, we control the flow in a particular tank. We just took a very simple process of a tank filling system, where the tank will be filled using the PLC controlled equipment. The pump will be the major part in it. So what we did is, we developed a PLC programming logics for that, and we also had a simulation on the HMI panel of the PLC, where pump will be switched on and off based on the user input, and it will be having animations of if the pump is on or off, and we'll also be having a button to troubleshoot the problem, and there will be also details of the current which has been passing through the pump. We found that the current is actually the dependent of the pump's capacitor. So we took current as a parameter, and we found it if there is any anomaly, we monitored it continuously to find out whether there is anomaly. Then we just, if there is anomaly, then we will be troubleshooting it. So that's what we were doing. When the pump is on, it will be switching on, and the water supply will be given to the actual system. So this is how it was initially working, and there will be a current monitoring system. Whenever there is a problem in the current sensor, it will be intimating us. Then we will be providing troubleshooting problem. So we'll be switching off the pump, and we'll be having the VR equipment to be handled by the student or the operator or the person who wants to serve setup. In that case, we'll be controlling it. It will be showing whenever there is a press in the VR, it is actually the gripper is being moved accordingly. So whenever I move it right and left, the gripper and the system will be moving accordingly. So this is what the animation of the capacitor removal. The capacitor will be placed and removed accordingly, whatever it's been shown in the virtual reality concept. So this is what it is actually taken the old capacitor and fixing it to the original pump system. The new capacitor is being fixed, which we made some arrangements or modifications as a plug type capacitor. Instead of just having wired capacitors, we made it as plug type capacitors. We developed this completely from with the students. Then there will be, if there is no changes, then it will be properly running on. So this is what a digital twin concept is. Where we can see is, what here we can see is the digital pump. The pump is actually created in the virtual environment, and there is a robotic setup which is being placed in the actual system, like very near to the actual system. Whenever there is a change or input given from this VR system, the system gives it as a detailed as an MQTT protocol. The communication between the actual VR and the robotic system is done through MQTT protocol, which I guess your experts in the field of IoT would have explained in the past 4 days. MQTT is message queuing transfer technology, and HTTP is hypertext transfer protocol, which we will be using in all the websites. HTTP is being used between websites, and MQTT is used between devices. To be more simple and precise, which is not actually accurate, MQTT, you can communicate with two devices. That kind of protocol is known as MQTT. To communicate between two different networks or two different domains, that is known as HTTP. We use HTTP over here. So then the next one is augmented reality. The last one was digital twin of using virtual reality. The next one is augmented reality, which has been developed by car company called Audi. So they are using it as a marketing gimmick or kind of a marketing strategy for their Singapore branches. In Singapore, they are using this kind of technology. Let's have a look on it. So what is happening here is, sorry, there's an interrupt. So what is happening here is they are making customized augmented reality boards, the number plates in Singapore. So what they did is whenever a customer comes in and asks for trial versions, they are showing details using the augmented reality application which they developed. And there is also Audi has been developing an application which is actually focusing on providing the details of the complete car in a mobile application in an augmented reality version. So if you can see in reality, there is no name at all, but whenever seen through that particular device, there is a name attached to their number plate of the car. So this is what the actual system is, augmented reality system is. So I'm going to explain how it has been industrialized, how it has been used in industries and all those things in very next segment after this explanation of a video. So what industries are doing is I'll be showing you two more case studies, which right now we are working on a very unique concept called digital manuals. So I'll be explaining that in the next upcoming one. So you can actually do racings, play games using augmented reality with no actual equipment in real. So this is where the customers are made to play games using the cars which they want. So in reality, there is no car at all, but in the game, there is actually a car which they are playing. So this is how augmented reality, very simple example to show what is augmented reality. You can very precisely witness that there is nothing in reality, but in augmented reality version, they are happily seeing it. So this is what augmented reality is all about. Okay, so what are the technologies being used in digital twin concept? Let me give you a very brief example using the digital twin concept which we developed. For example, the virtual reality segment which we developed for the pump. There we were using robotic setup, so we'll be surely coming for robotics. They were IoT enabled because we need to control it from across the globe. So I need internet to get communication. So internet is also being used. Virtual reality or augmented reality, whichever is convenient for us, and cloud computing to have our data has to be stored and the parameters to be monitored. So for that, we are using cloud computing technology. Let me put it as a very simple breakdown. What is like IoT to have communication between my virtual reality device and my robotic setup to establish a communication between them. Like if I send move x-axis to for 5 centimeter, my robotic arm should move for 5 centimeter in the x-axis. And if I give y-axis 4 centimeter, then it should move towards y-axis for 4 centimeter. In that case, there is a communication being established. For that, I need internet. That is why we use Internet of Things concept over there. Then virtual reality, which is very, it is called digital twin. Cloud computing, I need to monitor the parameters regularly so that I can control it from a remote location. I am here, I will not be able to access the data which is in the real time or industry. So what I need to do is I need to check the parameters, monitor it continuously, and have it stored in some cloud device, cloud equipment, which is cloud computing. There are various other difficulties in that for cloud computing, which is like network security, firewall breaching, data theft, and all those things, which I guess will be explained in the upcoming sessions by today and tomorrow. So this cloud computing is used for storing the data, and robotic arm is what we developed to control it. Same way we can use any kind of robotics. It can be wheels, gears, switches, any kind of robotic setup which can actually have control or access to the real equipment. So 4 different technologies: Internet of Things, virtual reality or augmented reality, cloud computing, and robotics together comprised to form or to actually make a digital twin concept, to make a digital twin concept to function in a very good way instead of just having a different concepts. So let me show you some videos which our students were developing on. This is one small animated animation which one of our students developed, where you can interact with it. You can make it to move in the direction which you want, or increase the size of it, whatever, however you want to make it interacted with the real world, you can interact it. So we can turn it to the direction which we want. We can increase the size of it and make it more elaborate, whichever condition we want. This is actually augmented reality, where we have been establishing it in real world environment. There is no actual presence of that robot, but we are actually experimenting it, superimposing it in the real environment. This is what the current project we have been working on, which is known as AR manual, which is like we get handouts for every product we buy. If I buy an AC, there will be a manual for it, user manual for it. If I buy a laptop, there will be a user manual. For every equipment or every device or every component we buy, there is a user manual to make the user understand how it works and how to get it connected with it, or how to plug it to the real environment, how to use it, and all those things will be given in detail in that user manual. But what is the real problem is, as a kid, whenever I get such kind of user manuals, I do not understand it. I don't know how to get it connected in real time. Like there will be something, connect your screws in this part, and I'll be going and searching for it. This is what the problem statement we got. We started to develop a very simple solution for that, where we can have an augmented reality user manual. That is what the explanation is all about. We usually buy products which will be coming up with handouts. So we need to debug it to have explained in detail. So what we do is, our day-to-day life equipments have a lot of papers in it. So to overcome that and to have a very straight, narrow down example or narrow down the solution, we just came up with this AR manual. So the team which was developing this team Beyond with the 3 students from KCG College of Technology, they had an approach of providing user manuals where you can actually have an application to look into the product and to understand how it works. For example, there is a washing machine, what we do not know how to operate it. So in that case, if I have my mobile phone pointed to that, it will be showing me use cases how to use it. This button will be powering on. If you long press that button, it will be going to some other mode. If you press child lock button for some time, it will be getting child locked, and all those functions will be explained in detail with animation using this concept, this AR manual concept. So this is very simple concept, very easy to develop, which has various number of new use cases in real world. Right now, it is being used in n number of locations. There is also one more problem statement. Whenever we go to big shopping complexes or shopping malls or something like that, we do not have track of where to go. Like the shop which we need to go, we will not be aware which floor it is or which building it, which side it is, or all those things. We will be not aware. So there is also again an interactive AR mapping system inside a mall where you can just scan it. It will route you virtually or using augmented reality technology to go and visit that particular location using the phone itself. So these kind of technologies are being developed right now in augmented reality and virtual reality. So let's have a quick session again. Like it's been 20 minutes. So I just want to have some very small interaction with you all. If there is any questions regarding digital twin concepts, we are just going to see the use cases of it in industry wise, how it has been used in the medical field, how it is used in industries and all those things. But before that, I just want to have a quick interaction for sure this time. Any kind of questions are welcome. I'm just welcome with any kind of questions before we entering into the next one. Is there any questions from anyone over there?
Sir, which type of programming languages that can be used in that digital twin technology, sir? Which language is preferred like that, sir?
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you for the question, ma'am. So actually, to make it more clear, digital twin is not something straightforward. It is not a single concept to be developed. It is combination of various technologies. So in that case, what it is like to develop digital replica of thing, we will be using C# or .NET frameworks. So I can just put it in the C# and .NET will be using. So these are the two technologies, programming languages which we will be using for developing digital replicas of or the digital twins. The second is IoT. In IoT, what we will be doing is we'll be embedded system. So there are various type of programming languages like we'll be using Python if you are using Raspberry Pi. We'll be having embedded C programming language if you are using the developers like the development boards like Arduino or Node MCU, something like that. If we are using PLCs and other things, for PLC we'll be using ladder logics. Those will be different. Again, for going to cloud computing, there are different kinds of programming languages which is being used. For robotics, it is again embedded system, which will be either Python for Raspberry Pi or embedded C for a normal Arduino and Node MCU systems. So what I'm trying to tell is programming language to focus on Unity alone, we'll be using C#. If we are using digital twin concept to be developed for a particular system, then there are various different departments to be considered. So in that case, IoT, robotics, cloud computing, and digital twin. So this is what the major programming language which we'll be using.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So any such questions are welcome. So if there is any question similar to that, I'm happy to answer that. So just any one question from the faculties over here, so that we can just continue with the next one.
Sir, good afternoon.
Yes, sir, good afternoon.
This is Professor Murali Krishna.
Yes, sir.
So, as a faculty, how can you start this this augmented reality? How can we go for the research? How many length of time required or spent to publish the research paper stage?
Yes. So thank you for the great question, sir. It is an awesome question. So the real thing over here is, it is very easy to understand. It is not very much complicated. Lots of papers are right now being published regarding to augmented reality concepts and virtual reality concepts. If you understand the basics, it will be probably maximum of 15 to 20 hours maximum. It is like starting from very scratch. If you are starting it from very scratch, it will be 15 to 20 hours to understand all the basics. Then if you are have a particular problem to be solved, the maximum again is going to be 20 to 30 days. We can actually solve a problem. So that's how we have been working on the previous projects, which I have been showing: the vehicle monitoring system, the digital twin concept for pumps, and the recent AR manual. We have been working. The maximum time period for all these projects were 30 days. With the students, we mentored all the students to understand the basics and to start developing this. So it was 30 days. Each day, probably 2 to 3 hours, the students were working. So maximum, it will be around 80 to 90 hours. We can solve a very minimal problem. Again, it varies depending on the problem statement we have. If you have a very simple problem statement, it takes only lesser time. If we have a higher problem statement which needs a lot of research to be done, then it takes crash time of it. Have I answered your question, sir?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Can I take your contact mail ID or something?
Sure, sir. I'll drop it at the end of the session so that everybody can be. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sir, one more small thing. So,
yes,
as electronics and communication department faculty, so what are the good areas for convenient to this discipline in augmented reality?
Okay, so you are asking regarding what is the domain you can touch regarding communication and digital twin. Is that right, sir?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what right now is using a digital twin concept will never make you domain oriented or department oriented. It eradicates that difference in the initial itself, because digital twin concepts are started being developed in every domains. For example, communication between the car itself, like there will be CAN protocol, CAN bus protocol being involved in cars to transfer data within themselves. So that CAN protocol can again be implemented in your digital reality concepts to make it get connected with your augmented reality setup. So what I'm trying to tell is, this digital twin developing is very different, which uses C# or .NET. But the practical solution which we take can be of any domain. It can be an electrical domain, it can be electronics domain, it can be equipment, it can be instrument, any kind of thing can be implemented using AR and VR. So it eradicates the difference of having it implemented to a particular department. So I can give you in more problem statements which is in communication department and electronics department when we have a conversation later on about what are the problems are there in industries right now. Clear, sir? Sir, am I clear with the question? Okay. So let's continue with the session. The next is going to be on how it has been used in industries like medical field, how it has been used in different segments of the medical field and industries, how it has been used.
Thank you.
So
that
that's
time
what.
It's a signal is.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. So in medical field, what the actual problem is, we cannot ask the students who are practicing medicine to go and perform an operation in the real person. So they'll be given morgues to perform their assignments or to perform their operations to have a practice of it. What this digital twin concept or virtual reality and augmented reality concept has given rise is, we personally solved this problem for a student who has been doing research in this field from Russia. So he just approached us to give him solution. In what is happening over there is, they have doctors will be there. The doctors will be in their home, and there is an equipment which actually operates. So what they will be doing is, the doctor will be giving commands over phone or walkie-talkie, something like that. The frequency will be transferred or given to the operating room. There will be an operator who will not be a doctor, but he will be a certified surgeon, so certified person. So he'll be over there. He'll be setting frequency. The machine or the equipment will be operating the person who's lying over there. The doctor will be giving commands to the operator over here. He'll be setting the frequency to cut the skin, to cut the tissue, and to open it up and all those things. He'll be setting the frequency for that particular device. So what is happening over here is, there are chances, very minimal chances, there are very high chances for errors to occur. That if the command sent from the doctor is misunderstood or taken in a very other way by the operator, then if he set the frequency to some other range, then there is a problem. The student came to us to solve this. So we gave them with gave him the idea of augmented reality or using virtual reality, which is very similar to digital twin concept. What is happening here is, the doctor over there will be having his virtual reality headset or augmented reality headset towards him. He will be experiencing that he is actually present over there. Like there will be a animated patient over there, and there will be the case study of all the details or the file reports of that particular patient in the virtual reality segment. So he can actually access it and see what is the problem, real-time problem of that particular patient, and he can start operating in virtual reality device itself. What happens here is, that frequency device, which will be operating actually, will be made to communicate with the VR device and the frequency device. So they both start communicating, and it will be operating according to the changes being done by the doctor. So based on his hand movements, the robotic setup and movements will also be moving. So this is how it has been implemented in Russia. There is a problem statement, and we gave him this, and there is an article about it too. So what I'm trying to tell is, it is being implemented in medical industry, started being implemented in medical industry because it has a lot of problems in it. For example, if there is a need of medical emergency for some kind of very important persons or VIP persons in India, there will be doctors coming across the globe. Like for former CM, during their operation, there was a doctor made to come from London to over here to operate or to perform diagnosis over the patient. In that case, what we can do is, instead of making him to come over here, which consumes a time, which consumes money and all those things, he can be over there and start operating, so that the time period for that operation is very critical. So it can be matched with this kind of situations. So this is very booming technology which has been implemented in the medical industry. And also, this is one example over here. You can see an X-ray being viewed augmentedly. Usually what we have is an X-ray film where the doctor will be seeing the details, but there will be no actual parametric details be given in that X-ray. The doctor need to understand it, and he will be explaining it. What happens if it is augmented reality enabled? He can have a glass and he can view the X-ray, and it will be comparing it to the real one. Like, this is what the real bone should be, how the bone should be. But here there is a little deviation. So if this is persistent, again there will be a problem in the future after 6 months. Or what is the previous history of his previous medical history of the patient? All those things can be visible in that particular X-ray, so that the remedy steps can be made more accurate. Instead of just going for the accuracy rate will be increased by using these kind of technologies in medical industry. So that is one practical solution of having virtual reality and augmented reality and digital twin concepts in medical industry. This is one good example. and let's say there is an heart surgeon being working on, and he needs some clarifications, or if there is any minor problem arises during the surgery, he can refer notes easily using virtual reality segments. This will be very much useful for practicing doctors. So practicing surgeons or practicing doctors, they can start operating with the help of virtual reality, so that, or the augmented reality obviously, so that the error rate can be reduced to a very great extent. So this gives them insights about what is the heart, how it functions, and all those things. So this is what it is being used in industries, in medical industry. I'll give you two more examples of this augmented reality and virtual reality being used in different domains. The first one is civil, where what happens there is, earlier to build a building or to construct a building, what the builders do is they'll be giving you handout diagrams. Like there will be a big A0 size sheet. They will be having plans in it, diagrams in it, where they'll be saying this is kitchen, this is hall, this is where the lobby will be, and all details will be in that particular diagram, which is a very long, very big A0 sheet. Later, they started to implement 3D models. They started to give you 3D models with they'll be displaying it by creating a 3D model in thermocol or wood or something like that, and they'll be displaying it to you, so that you can have the look of how the construction building will be actually. Later, they started to develop it in a 3D animation, where you can actually view it, so that you can experience it, like how it will be in this direction, how it will be in this direction, how it will be. So these kind of things were started to develop. Right now, what this kind of real estate industries and civil construction industries are doing is, they are developing a virtual reality experience for the construction building. Before it is being built in real, they are building it in virtual reality experience, so that I can actually wear the device and go walk into the home, which is not built at all, and have the experience how the building will be. So these kind of virtual reality concepts are being implemented in your this civil and real estate industries, to increase the productivity, or to increase the experience of the user, whoever wants to buy that building. So that is one technology which is being one domain where this digital twin concept is used. The other one is industry, where industries will be having a lot of diagrams in it. Like for example, if we concerned about instrumentation department, there is something called piping and instrumentation diagram. If we are looking for mechanical, then there will be a pipeline structure diagram. For electrical, there will be single line diagrams and grid diagrams. And for civil, there will be building structural diagrams of buildings. What is the real problem over here is, it is very tedious to understand it. Like it would have been developed a couple of very several years ago. I have a personal experience on that. I have been visiting to a petrochemical industry, and I need to have a study on how that particular plant is. Like I need to completely measure all the dimensions by just walking around the field. So this is what the assignment was given to me during my work as a project engineer. Me and my team went over there, and they were giving us diagrams. So we need to go every point of the plant and need to measure what is the size of the building, what is all those things, because they have some internal audit process, it seems. What I'm trying here is, this created a problem. This was like, I cannot be moving around over all the plant and be taking it, which consume time, energy, and it is a long step process. What we did is, we developed a augmented reality system for this. What is, there will be a QR scanner over the diagram. If I scan that QR code, then the actual building, actual plant will be easily viewed in that particular sheet. Like if I have my camera placed over there, then it will be showing me the details like I have been showing you. So it will be all the buildings will be shown to me. All the pipelines will be shown to me in detail. I can zoom it out, I can zoom in and see everything in particular with the dimensions, what is the flow rate, actual flow rate, and everything can be seen in that. So these kind of problems are in industries which is being solved using augmented reality and virtual reality. Virtual reality, most of the cases is used to solve or control an equipment. Augmented reality in most of the cases is used to understand and analyze a problem. So there is a very small difference between them. Using augmented reality, I can make a setup to be controlled, and even also using augmented reality, I can control it. But the primary of augmented reality to is understand and analyze it. I can easily view it and analyze it. So that is what the augmented reality is primarily used. Then we can have the last one. This is also a problem statement which we solved using students. What it is like dental students will be having will not be given chances to actually operate or work on the real patients. In that case, we developed dummies. We actually did not develop, we actually proposed to them to develop dummies connected to augmented reality setup, where the student will be given step-by-step analysis or step-by-step procedure to perform an operation, to perform a well clean, to place and well. All those things can be step-by-step taught or preached to the students or the practicing doctors, so that they can easily adopt it, and if there is any changes need to be done, they'll be acting accordingly. If I need to remove the tooth, if there is any problem with the operation or the procedure I am doing, that augmented reality setup or the virtual reality setup can give me suggestions. Like, you have been inclined to an angle of 180 degree, but you should be inclined to an angle of only 120 degree, or some sorts of explanations can be given using this kind of technologies in a real time. So this is what augmented reality is all about. Our technology of digital twin is all about. It is combining our very different technologies together, where an actual replica of that particular equipment is used as the use case. For example, Facebook, I'll give you a very good example of how our data can be manipulated and used. In this case, Facebook was given a complaint. There was a complaint. There is actually a complaint on Facebook, which is Facebook is taking all our data and manipulating it to the user itself, so that they can push themselves to end result. For example, I'll make it more simple. The elections of USA, the president election, not this, the previous one, where Trump was elected as the president. During those elections, Facebook had played a major role in it. That is what the complaint was about. They started to leak data to other companies, to third-party companies, and also they started to propaganda towards or in favor of Trump. So because of these kind of allegations were given on Facebook. How Facebook did this, what Facebook actually did is, they created digital replicas of the emotions of every individuals who are using Facebook in particular location. For example, let's keep it as California state. There, lots of people will be there. What Facebook would have done is, they would have created replica of all the people who are using Facebook based on their previous usage in the Facebook. Like, I've been feeling, I'll be expressing all kind of emotions in my Facebook. Everyone would be doing that. I'll be feeling happy with someone else. I'll be liking some post and everything. All these data are collected together cumulatively, did an analysis and created a digital replica of Hariharan. I have been liking some post, let's say scientific post, and I have been doing looking for some cooking stuffs or eating stuffs or something like that. I've been liking and I've been regularly seeing all these kinds of videos in Facebook. Let's keep it in that way. What analysis department or analytics of analytic AI of Facebook will do is, it will analyze me completely and create a digital replica where it will be responding how I will be responding to a question. For example, it has analyzed me completely, and if I am asked a question like, what would you think about Eiffel Tower, something like that, if someone asked me a question, this twin or the digital replica which was developed by AI can answer the exact answer what I would have been thought, or what I would have been saying. So this is what the actual replica process has been done in these social medias. What they do is, they create these kind of digital replicas of every humans or every users. They'll be providing surveys, or they'll be doing market analysis over that for business perspective. So to understand whether this product will be reaching to my customer, or how should I propaganda my product to the user, or how can I make the user to buy my product. All these things are done using digital replica or digital emotion replica of these kind of websites or these kind of social media uh, giants. So what I'm trying to tell is digital twin is started to be established in most of the domains which we are in right now. So to understand it, we need to know what is digital twin, what are the technologies being used, what is how it can be solving our problem and all those things, so that we can either be safe, also we can be developing products to increase the experience of the user. So before going into the next, I just want to have a quick interaction with you all. Is there any questions or doubts till now regarding this? Is there any doubt regarding anything related to IoT or virtual reality, fusion technologies, uh, and stuff like VR, AR, all those things? I can also give you a proper, more elaborate explanation if needed.
Sir,
Yes, sir. Go ahead,
if
sir.
any connectivity is there in IoT and virtual reality, please give that connectivity idea.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'll give you a very brief explanation on that. What we do is, let me give you an example by using normal things, sir. If I go and type in my search, if I search Google, a Google description will be opening. And if I search Facebook, not Facebook, let's go for something else. Let me tell it as LinkedIn. If I search LinkedIn, it will be going for LinkedIn profile. The transformation or the connectivity between here is, you can see over here, it is HTTP protocol, which is hypertext transfer protocol. So this is the protocol which is being used for connectivity between two different networks. What is being used here is, there is a connection between two different devices. I'll give you a very simple explanation for that, or a very simple question for that. Sometimes whenever we connect with hotspot of some mobile or Wi-Fi with some devices, there will be a statement, there will be some notification. Wi-Fi connected, no internet access. We would have surely come across this, which means I have connected to the device, but I am not connected to the internet. I'll put it in simple terms. What it is here is, to get connected with your other device, we'll be using MQTT protocol, which is message queuing transfer technology. But to connect it with your internet, we'll be using HTTP protocol. What is the difference is, HTTP protocol is to connect between two different networks. For that network, there is no communication between them. This network is actually moving towards that network by sending some details, like I'm just visiting you, so just open your doors so I can come in, or something like that. To understand and saying these kind of things, they'll be communicating in that way. But what MQTT will be doing is, it will be communicating in a way that it sends and receives data to control actions or to perform some tasks. For example, two devices are connected with hotspot and Wi-Fi to transfer files like music, data or pictures, videos. Everything will be transferred using hotspot. There is something called phone cloning option, which uses hotspot to be connected, but not internet. Phone cloning is used for if I bought a new phone, the old phone data need to be transferred to my new phone. So this phone clone option, what it will do is, it will transfer all the data from the old phone to my new phone using hotspot. This hotspot will be on, this will be connected as on Wi-Fi, both will be transferring data. Here there is no need of internet, because two devices are getting connected and transferring data. This uses MQTT protocol. But if I need to send a message through WhatsApp, let's keep it as WhatsApp. In that case, I need internet to get it connected to that particular device. In simple terms, I need to connect to my internet. Okay. For that internet, there will be a device that will be providing.
Sir,
Yes, sir. Sorry.
excuse me,
Go.
sir. So my question is how the connectivity between IoT and virtual reality.
That is what, sir. That is being used by MQTT technology.
Okay.
What happens over here is,
Okay, sir.
from here I'll be sending one as a data. So that device will be receiving one as a data using MQTT protocol. MQTT is that is what I'm trying to tell. I need to connect to a internet providing device. I am connecting with internet providing device using MQTT protocol. This internet providing device will be connected to another device which will be connected using MQTT protocol. But the transfer between the data, the message which I send from my WhatsApp to your WhatsApp is using HTTP protocol because it is transferred through internet. Okay, connecting to internet we use MQTT. Internet uses HTTP protocol. Am I clear on that, sir? Two devices get connected using MQTT protocol. Two networks connect using HTTP protocol. To be very simple.
Yes, sir. I got, sir. I got it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So any such questions are welcome. Okay, what are the questions? What are the challenges you have faced while working in this, and how did you overcome all this? Okay, challenges, we actually plan problems and develop it. The problem, we haven't faced any serious issues with it. The first stage is what we do usually is we identify the problem and we come up with the final solution. This is how our final solution will be, final product will be. So we need to work on that. So that's how we go with our plan. We'll be sketching our final idea into a document so that everybody can understand it, and we'll be start working on that. So that's our working model. So we haven't faced any serious issues in developing that. Only one problem we had is to get connect with all kinds of technologies. Like for example, I need to have expertise in IoT, I need to have expertise in cloud computing, I need to have expertise in VR. All this need to be in a single room to get students to be mentored or to that product to be developed. So that was the actual problem, but we have enough resources for that. We have a very good team working in that particular domains in various companies and MNCs. So with those people, we are actually doing it. There is no very serious issue which have never raised till now for us in this particular domain. Thank you for the question, ma'am. Difference between MQTT and XMPP, any particular applications on these protocols? XMPP, MQTT is actually like getting connected with devices, but XMPP is something related to your database. It is like storing your database data to your particular database. We'll be using XMPP protocols. But coming to your device communication, we'll be using MQTT protocol. Let me put it as a very simple example for you. I have a remote with me. Let's keep mobile remote. Redmi has been offering a mobile remote where it has a IR transmitter. What happens over here, whenever I press a button, it will be receiving signal over there. Two devices are getting communicated, which is very simple IR transmission protocol. That's it. There is no hidden protocol at all in it. But whenever you, without use of that particular IR, if you are communicating with that particular device, you send the data as a message that will be receiving the message. Each will be processed in next like first come first serve basis. The message will be received by the other end. It will be processed and it will be working in that way. But XMPP is like storing data to a database and retrieving it and using it. So that is completely different. So XMPP and MQTT are two different domains. XMPP can be used in cloud computing where you will be having databases, but MQTT is communicating between devices, not between databases. So that is what the actual difference between them.
Participants are requested to post your queries on the chat box. Yes, sir. One more question. How we can create the subject course material like electronic circuits using AR and VR, sir?
Yes. What before that, the question, previous question, MQTT and XMPP protocol. In XMPP, you can also make sure that you are streaming. It is like continuous streaming kind of thing. It is like displaying or monitoring. For that, you will be using XMPP. But MQTT is for transferring and control. So that is what the major difference. Coming back to the question by Mr. Gangadurai, how can we create subject course materials like electronic circuits using AR and VR? For that, I'll give you a real-time example again. Nokia, which is in Nokia location, manufacturing plant is in Chennai, Sriperumbudur. What they did is, students who come for internships over there, they will be giving PCB soldering equipment as their problem. So they will be given devices like the PCB boards. The students need to solder it. But what is the real problem is the student will not be very good or very efficient in soldering, like as the expert is. So what they did is initially they started to give training for them. In that cases, there were a lot of problems again. There were a lot of usage of a lot of resources. Hardware has been wasted for training. What Nokia did is they started to develop a VR equipment, VR device or an application where the student can practice PCB using VR. That is one can be done. The second is to assemble some kind of electric device or electronic device. We can make the student to understand or develop it using VR systems or AR system. We can easily understand those kind of things. So in that case, we can use AR and VR. AR and VR can be used in electrical domain to design circuits, to soldering, those kind of things we can use them. Am I clear, sir, Mr. Gangadurai? Thank you, sir. Some VR AR software. Unity is very one best software which you can start with. Unity is the software which has a free version of it. Unity LTS is what you need to download. So there are various versions in it. LTS is a version which will be compact and can be used for all kind of devices, systems with various operating systems. Unity LTS can be used. Unity is one good software and it is very easy to understand initially. We have been. How do you view drone model with an AR sensor? We do not actually give drone as an communication between VR headset because VR headsets should be of higher end. There is some problems called FPS, which is frame per second thing, where you need to adjust your brain accordingly. 60 FPS or 90 FPS is the standard rate your brain can adjust itself. Your mobile phones and other devices will be having 30 FPS, or the cameras which we use in normal days will be having 30 FPS. If you process that kind of information with your drone, that will be very much tedious for you'll be getting nauseating problems and all those things while using it. So we don't advise to have drone and VR headset to be connected, but there are if we are using higher end devices like a good quality of camera with higher FPS and a good VR headset, then that is possible. That is actually also being done right now to be used for if there is any disaster in construction thing, or if there is any anomalies or very big natural calamities happening during that period. These kind of drone based VR headsets are very much useful, which is being also used right now by TN government. TN government is using drones and VR implementation over that. TN government is actually doing it. Am I clear, ma'am? To share my contact details by psychological effect when you use. Yes, there are physiological effects actually. People tend to have some kind of nausea, like nauseous feeling, or some head pains, some eyeball pains or something like that. Very which is for elongated time period. If we are using it for hours or a couple of hours, then you will be having such kind of problems. that varies according to person. It is not very strict that everybody will be having that. It varies to person. When I was using it, it was not a problem for me. But when my mother was using it, my mom tried it. She had some nauseating problems for a couple of minutes. So after then, it was all right. So it will not give to any serious issues, but that timely effect will be there. For 10 or 15 minutes, you will be having nauseating feeling and all those things. So that's what the issue with using VR. But AR is no problem at all. You can use it anywhere, anytime, which is very easier or simpler method to implement. To show you my contact, you can just get connected to us through LinkedIn or through our website. I can also share you my details. So this is where you can get connected to us. I can just also draw. So this is my official email ID. If there such occasions, we can be supportive or helpful for you and your teams. We are very much open for that. So this is our other communication methods. If there is any questions, open for that. If there, you can just ask us with the last 5 minutes of the session, and we can. Yes, that is what the exact thing we are doing. We are making our brain to believe that we are in different environment. If time given or if there are chances, we have a VR setup with us. We have two different VR setup with us, which is VR Quest and which is VR Rift, Oculus Rift and Oculus Quest. If permitted time and if there are any possible occasions, we can just give you to experience in your college or in your place to implement VR technologies in real-time problems. We can just give you an opportunity to get it done. Actually, we are not only VR and AR is actually simulating or you're making your brain to deceive that there is something actually present, which is not actually present. That's what VR and AR concept is. You'll be feeling that you are actually present over there and you are experiencing it. Any such questions? I'm open for that. We have developed more than 3 projects with RMD Engineering College students, particularly electronics and instrumentation students. And we have also been developing various other products with various other colleges in Chennai. So if such occasions, we are very much helpful and open to support if there are any innovations or ideas within the students and the faculties.
Participants, if you have any queries, you post from the chat box.
I hope the content was useful for everybody over here, and it's actually a great honor to address these many people from various colleges, and it's been one of my dreams to give such kind of lectures to faculties. So I'm happy and hope that I gave little insights, very little insights of what is VR, AR, and digital twin concepts, and what is its industrial usage and all those things. If there is any questions or queries, I'm open for it. We can just have an interaction.
Thank you,
Yes, sir. If you have any queries, we will post you on later, sir. And let's have a formal conclusion of this session 2, sir. And now I would like to invite Mrs. L. Aquilin Lydia of E&I Department, Assistant Professor of E&I Department, to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event. I extend my gratitude to our respected chief guest, Mr. Hariharan, founder of Space Z Solutions, who honored this session and delivered an excellent lecture with more lively examples on augmented reality and virtual reality. Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge and time with us. Hope the participants would have Hope the participants would have benefited a lot from this session, sir. Also, I'd like to thank all the participants for their active participation throughout the session. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your interactive and very new topic for us in this session, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you.